I will feel that, so the gong will go to that area where I'm sensing that.
Right.
And then other times I'll sit there and I will pick up numbers. Numbers seem to be my thing. I'll pick up numbers and I'll say to you at the end of the class, I'll say, I saw the number 705. Did something happen to you on July 5th? Is that a birth? I don't know what it means, but it may mean something for you. Or 705 might be the address of a house you had.
Are you really asking me this question right now, Lisa?
No.
Oh, okay, I'm like, that's interesting.
Well, sometimes when I do say that as an example, they might mean something. If any of those things resonate, that's just the first thing that popped into my head. I don't know why they do.
Right,
does any of that mean anything to you? Probably not, because I'm not connecting in. But
well, in all honesty, the pain in my left shoulder.
Okay.
I got
for
it
sure.
right away.
Yeah, me too. I'm like, really, lady?
Wow.
That's pretty cool. You're not even playing your gong right now.
Okay.
Yes.
I've been having issues with the left side of my body over the past couple of days, my back
That's
and
pretty
stuff.
cool.
So
Yeah, she just told me today.
been having
Back
some
was hurting the
issues.
other day.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes I think it's the gong that gives me that ability. But I think it's because that's the time that I actually ask for the help and the guidance. But
Which you already have anyway.
we all do.
Yeah, oh, of course.
The gong just opens it up. The gong, to me, opens up intuition.
Again, bringing out a different frequency and vibration. I mean, each of us, our liver, our lungs, all of that runs on a different vibration and a different frequency. Therefore, whenever you play your gong or whatever, you can match up to different frequencies that might be of a healing or a clearing, ways, giving you out that sound, that vibration, that frequency.
Yeah, and I mean, it's interesting because when I first started playing the gong, this didn't happen. And there's an article that was written about gong playing, and it talks about different stages that you go through of learning the gong.
Okay.
At first you start and you're just hitting it.
Right.
And then you just work through, they're called the pods, in PAD. And when you get to the upper level, all of a sudden the intuition opens up, and the things that started happening to me that I didn't know were going to happen, which I'm kind of glad I never read this ahead of time. That's pretty much what happens. And the gong brought that out in me.
Well, I remember you telling me a story about one of the first times you ever kind of realized that it was happening to you, the butterfly?
On the person's back?
Yes.
It was a moth.
Oh, the moth.
It was a great moth.
Okay. Yeah.
But I've had some cool things happen since.
Yeah, you want to tell us a couple of them? Can you do that?
Well, I had one where I saw a gentleman. He was wearing carrying what looked to me sort of like a canvas bag that went over his shoulder, sort of like a yoga bag, how people might carry a yoga bag. But it wasn't a yoga bag, and it was canvas, and it was white, and it had blue writing on it. And afterwards I said, what was that? And he was a mailman, and he delivered mail.
Ha!
And which was interesting. And what was another good? Another one, which was an actual interesting experience, is I saw a piece of cake. It was strawberry shortcake. And this friend of mine's daughter just got married. So in my mind, I'm like, oh, that can't be cake because she's gluten-free. And so I said to my friend afterwards, I know it sounds interesting, but I saw strawberry shortcake. Then I was thinking it might have been the cake that was on your daughter's wedding cake, but then it's not gluten-free. She goes, actually, my daughter's wedding cake was strawberry shortcake, and the top layer was gluten-free.
Oh.
So that was sort of interesting. But,
It also depends on, I believe that you have to be open, and the person that you are around needs to be open to allow you to intertwine with their energies. When I first started learning Reiki from my master, she says, those aura I forgot what they're called, but
aura cameras.
The aura cameras. Yeah,
I have a friend who does them. She's wonderful. If anybody is looking for her name is Bonnie, massage shop in Crystal Lake, and she does aura photography. It's phenomenal.
That's too cool. Thank you for that one. I like.
Yeah, I've gotten
that.
it done, and it's interesting.
I
actually saw angel wings on my aura photo,
wow.
which was really cool. So.
That's neat. The first one I ever had done, was by this old place that used to be here in town called Vision Quest, and it was actually a tattoo shop. And I remember going in there. I was about 18 years old. I left my house. I had just had an argument with my father. I go in for my appointment. He takes my picture. He's like, oh, it was all red everywhere around me, red and just red and black, just nothing there. It was awful. He's like, okay, listen to me, go take a break for a little bit and come on back in whenever you're feeling a little bit better. Well, I did that. I took a few moments, just went in, perused the tattoo art or whatever, and went back in, and when I went back in, there was hues of a million colors, and that's all the difference. People don't understand that even when they're having a bad day, when they speak words, even, everything has a frequency with it. And you're giving that off, no matter what you think. If you think you're in a bad mood and you're not giving it off, I promise that you are. My mom tells me that all the time.
Have you ever combed your energy?
Well, yeah, sure, with the Reiki.
Yeah, where you do that?
Oh, sure.
Have you ever muscle tested somebody when you've done that?
No, what do you mean muscle test?
It's kinesiology. So
Okay.
let's say, like, right now I had you stand up and I combed your energy and I muscle tested you and I
Okay.
combed it all down, your arm would drop. When I comb it back up, your arm will be strong. And I do this all the time in yoga classes, especially to kids, to show them the power of words and thought. Because if I sit there and if you say right now and had your arm out and I muscle tested you and you'd say, I am beautiful, you'd be nice and strong, okay? If you'd say, I'm stupid, your arm would drop and you'd be weak. But I've done it where I've had groups of people. Somebody goes out of the room, and let's say me and you would think something negative, okay, about Jessica.
Okay.
And we would come back in and muscle test her arm would drop. We thought something positive, it would stay strong. And that's, our thoughts carry vibration.
That's right.
So when we chant mantra in Kundalini Yoga, when we chant, you are uplifting yourself every time you chant. So when you sit there and you chant for 11 minutes, you're stimulating meridians on the roof of the mouth by flickering the tongue. There's 84 meridians on the roof of the mouth that balance out your nervous system, balance out your glandular system. So when you're chanting for you, but you're also raising the vibration in the room. So when you chant in the group, it's amplified so much more. And that's why people come to class, because chanting on your own is beautiful and it helps you. But when you mix with the group, we're all uplifted.
Nice.
And, that's the power of vibration, the vibration of voice, the vibration of the gong. It's changed my life. And I do it for me and nobody else. But my family appreciates it because then I'm not so cranky.
Yes, ma'am.
When you don't practice, you get cranky.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't feel as good.
No,
That's
that's
right.
true.
That's right. And again, I'm going to go back to those thoughts real quick because I have someone in my life that likes to say, negative things towards themselves. And, it hurts me to know that they are lessening their own frequency and vibration. They're limiting themselves by those words that they're speaking, the words that they're thinking, the words that they're emitting.
Well, I did have an example once in one of my classes where if somebody does not have a lot of confidence and says negative things about themselves, it actually makes them stronger. When I did the kinesiology test, it got them stronger.
Because that's the way their brain rolls
that's
and
how they
functions.
are.
That's the way they were. I mean, and it was
Their
it was interesting for me to see that. And, it can be shifted, but sometimes people, that's just who they are.
It's a drive for this person to do that. It actually drives them. It pushes them forward.
Yeah.
And I have never understood that. That's very confusing for me because I don't have that
It's
mind
about acceptance.
thought.
You have to accept people for what they are and
Sure
know that
enough.
you can't change them.
Oh,
And
is that what's wrong with me? No,
Well,
I'm just
that's
kidding.
hard at being a teacher. But like you say, people with the gong, right? The reason why I'm able to do benefit for them when they come into my class is they're giving their permission just by being there. They want it.
Yes.
What I've noticed, and again, the meditation, the ma, think before you speak, there's so many times where I have so much knowledge in my head from all of the years of studying that, oh, Kim, let me tell you this, you have to do this, this will fix your neck and this will fix that. You're not asking me to fix you. That's not my job. When you come to my class, you're asking for my assistance. When I meet you on a street corner where I'm interacting in regular life, it's not my job.
Right.
And that's where I've gotten myself into trouble. Because you want to help people.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
It's an innate
It's our
part
nature.
of you,
Yep.
and you have to realize they might not want your help.
That's right. Or they might
And
not
you-
be ready or...
And you have to accept them
That's right.
for the
Right.
place that they're at. And that has been such a large message for me.
And me too. And I still work on that. In all honesty, I'm a lot better than I was 15 years ago. But I got to say that, it's a walk. in progress. I'm always learning and growing every single day, as we should be. Otherwise, we're going to falter, and that's
three steps forward, two steps back, right?
Right. Absolutely. So you said your family appreciates this. Do you have children, and do they partake in yoga?
I'm one of those mothers that believes in not forcing my kids to do what I want.
Yeah.
And my kids have taken kids yoga classes because that's how I managed to teach a lot when I was younger. I taught Girl Scout yoga. I actually helped the Sibaqua Council make a patch for yoga, but then they changed their whole thing. But I used to teach tons of Girl Scout yoga, and I used to teach therapeutic kids yoga. When my kids were younger, I did a lot of that. And so my kids are exposed to it. They see Mom. My phone goes off in the kitchen. Mom, did you meditate? So I'm teaching by example. Or I can't tell you how many countries and cities and towns that I have done this meditation with my arm out to the side, sitting in a car. And they're used to I've done it at Great America, sitting on a bench while my kids were on the,
That's right.
Because it doesn't matter where you are. You close your eyes, you breathe, you tune out the rest of the world. So you can meditate anywhere. But my kids are so used to having weird mom who does those kind of crazy things that I'm hoping that when they're ready for it, they'll find it.
That's right.
They have their own thing, their own stuff but they also know they have access to it. And when my daughter's hurt, she'll say, Mom, can you do Reiki on me?
Yeah. Aw.
Cool. Or I use essential oils, and it's like, well, Mom, my head hurts. Can I have the pan away?
Yeah, exactly.
And so,
know what to ask for.
Well, they do, and lavender for allergies, and I use Young Living oils. I sell them. I've been doing them for years, and it's part of our life. We don't use medicine really. A bottle of Motrin in our house for the bad headaches, and essential oils, and that's pretty much all we use. The only medication we keep in our house, which is really cool.
And again, it's all
and that's
about
how my kids were raised.
It's all about that vibration, and that's why the essential oils work.
Yeah.
Because they have a frequency to them. And so does the food we eat, the stuff we put into our face, the stuff that is around us, all that good stuff.
I do events sometimes with oils, gong. Oils and gong, too.
Nice.
So then you're getting that
it kind of makes
vibration.
sense to me.
Yes.
I mean, it definitely makes sense
I have one
to me.
coming up in Hoffman Estates on September 24th. I do it with another friend of mine who's an aromatherapist, and so that's a really cool, event.
It will smell nice. I like doing, that we did a quarter auction here at the station for a fundraiser, and we had a doTERRA, I believe, in there. And anyway, it smelled fantastic. I just have to say it smelled fantastic.
Some of them don't smell so good.
No.
They work.
Yeah, I've got goldenrod at home.
And do you know I'm allergic to goldenrod?
Are you really? I could see why. I mean, it smells like hay. It really does. But I got to tell you what, it takes my pain away.
Interesting.
And I use that on my shoulders and stuff like that. And, just put it right on. I don't even dilute it down. I just put a couple on and rub it right in, and there it goes, which we don't recommend. Put a carrier oil with it, of course. Because you don't know how your skin is going to react.
Do you sell the oils too?
I never did, but I was once part of them. Just for my own, Young Living, as part of my own, for my own personal.
Yeah, I do it for me, and so many people ask me about it that, if people are interested, I do sell
so many
them,
more people do it these days. Just like yoga, when you were talking about back in the day, you did not have to have the certification. Well, that's back in the day. They thought you had to, shape yourself like a pretzel and had to be the size of a stick to be able to do it. And what people don't realize is that, you don't have to be that way. I'm a chunkified woman, and I can do it. I got no problem with it.
Well, the word asana means seat.
So
basically, back in the days, people did yoga so they could sit comfortably and meditate. And that was the classical reason people did yoga. If you go back to, the reason back when. So asana, which are physical yoga postures, means seat.
That makes sense completely, too.
The time is 11:44.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Well,
that's numbers again.
I do. I like it. Those numbers, 11 and 44.
I thought it sounded good.
And you said 222, which is a very significant number in my life as well.
When did I say 222?
About your friend, her birthday.
Oh, yeah, February.
Yep.
That was my brother's birthday too.
And it was also the date that my granny passed.
Yeah.
It's held significance for
Yeah.
my brother. All kinds of stuff. That 222 is pretty big. I love numbers too.
Yeah.
I love numbers.
Well, they totally come up for me when I'm playing the gong. I see numbers all the time. I keep getting people's birthdays or, dates people